Happy New Year 2015 to all of my subscribers, all of my viewers, everybody I'm engaged with on the internet, and all the people who might be coming across this video. What I do every month is a sort of wrap-up of what took place in the last month and a discussion of what I've got coming up, not only about YouTube, but about my writing, my public speaking, other things that are going on as well. So I'm going to do that in this video, but this will be a bit more retrospective and a bit more looking ahead because it's the new year, so I want to talk about the old year and talk about the year coming up as well. What I want to do before I launch into 2014 is to bring up a few things that I'll talk about more later on in the video, but I just want to put on your radar for the moment. You might know about them already, or they might be things that you could get excited about and interested in. So we have a new library series going. Last year it was Glimpses of Existence, Existentialist Thinkers. This year it is Understanding Anger, and I'll be looking at classic sources from Greek plays and epics all the way to Dante's Inferno and Purgatorio, and all sorts of other things in between. As usual, we'll be recording it, so if you can't attend the Kingston Library, probably the case for most people, right? Given that it's just one spot in the world, well, you can watch the videos as well. I'm going to do more half-hour Hegel videos. We're going to try to get through as much of the phenomenology as we can. I'm going to do some more existentialism videos, and one motivation for that is because I've got my existentialist philosophy and literature class coming out with a Plerno, open to the public, although it does cost some because it is a 4-credit class. And it involves quite a bit of interaction with myself as the professor. But I'll talk more about that later on, and I'll do a video about that one as well. Got more critical thinking videos coming out in the Critical Thinking Reasoning and Argumentation channel, Critical Thinking Logic and Argumentation channel. And I think I'm going to be bringing out a few more new channels this year as well. So those are the things that we've got coming up. A lot of other things coming up. Oh, one other thing I have to talk about before I go into 2014. And this does touch on 2014, but it goes back a little bit further. So as I was preparing for this, I was thinking to myself, how long have I been here and doing this? And it's 3.5 years now since I made a major career change that this video work is a significant part of. I left behind a tenure-track job in which I was up for early tenure and promotion. I had moved up into a lot of administrative capacities. I ran university-wide assessment. I wrote portions of the Quality Enhancement Plan that was presented to the SACS accreditors. So I had a very secure position, but there were two main reasons I moved up here. One was so that I could actually stop having a long-distance relationship and have a face-to-face all the year-round relationship with my then fiance, now wife, and my partner in Reason.io, Andy, and that was a really great idea. It's turned out quite well for both of us. Because, boy, long-distance relationships are just brutal, aren't they? And I also decided that, we decided that I was going to start a company, Reason.io, and I was going to try to do the sorts of things that I'd always wanted to do more of, but didn't have quite as much time to do as a normal academic, doing a lot more public speaking, shooting more videos, public engagements, making philosophy practical and making it accessible to ordinary people. So it's been 3.5 years. Things have not moved along as fast as we originally planned, but they never do they? Or if they do, then you have a whole new set of problems, like how am I going to do all this work that I've got piled up on me? So that's something good to keep in mind. When we're thinking about what we're doing in 2015, a lot of it is centered around this idea of making philosophy practical and accessible for ordinary people, for institutions, making philosophy do work. So let's talk about 2014 now. Let's talk about December first. In December, I finished up the Glimpses of Existence library series with the 12th talk on Gabriel Marcel, and you can see the video for that, as well as all the other Glimpses of Existence videos. I've got it in the description for this. We finished up the Introduction to the Half-Hour Hegel series, and I got all those videos posted, so that's kind of good. You know, preface and the introduction are behind us now. Now we can move into the real meat. I started a new set of videos for a class that I'm currently teaching called Worldviews and Values for Marist College. And each week of that 10-week class, the students get anywhere from 5 to 6 lecture videos as a supplementary resource. And I've been, after I let my students have first crack at them, I've been letting you viewers have access to them. So far I've only opened up the first week, and I still have one more to do with that. But you can see what they look like. You know, the first week was on Plato. The next week for them is Epictetus. They're in Descartes right now. So that's a good segue into talking about classes. I actually, this December, I've been teaching 3 classes online. 2 of them are 4-week ethics classes, so incredibly intensive because you're packing 15 weeks worth of material into 4 weeks. And I do this entirely online. I use my videos, both the class videos and the core concept videos. I give the students a lot of handouts. They engage in forums. They do a lot of writing, which means I have to do a lot of reading and grading, which is pretty time consuming. And then I've got that 10-week Worldviews and Values class for which I am developing new content every single week. Because I want my, online classes, a lot of people teach them as if they're just like a correspondence class, read the text, write a few papers. I do something quite different. I try to create an entire environment in which students are given all the resources that they need in order to learn, to succeed. But that's a lot of work. So that's where a lot of December went. Add on to that the fact that we had to travel to the Midwest to see our families, to spend some time with my kids, and December went by pretty quickly. We also unfortunately had a loss in our little family of our what my wife calls our 4-legged fam. One of our cats, one of the 2 sisters that we had, she'd been ill for a while without us necessarily realizing it. We thought she was just, losing weight, and she eventually stopped eating and didn't respond to the various treatments that we tried to do. And it was very hard, but we had to come to the decision to put her down eventually as the best thing. And that's got me thinking quite a bit about pets and our attachments to them and the nature of animals and death and what survives after death. So I might do some writing on that. I think I might also, I'm kicking around the idea of writing something like so you're stuck in this situation kind of guide from a philosophical perspective for people who have to make big decisions about their pets. Anyway, that's one of the things we went through. It was very, very hard for both of us because we loved her quite a bit, and she was a great cat. So, what else in 2014? A lot of things I could bring up, but I'm just going to mention a few. In a more traditional academic setting, I had a few articles and book chapters that came out. One on Jacques Lacan and ethics that I'd been invited to write for a volume on postmodern ethics. Another paper was published on Anselm and God and morality, because I'm a St. Anselm scholar, so I try to keep doing some work in that field. I did some other writing that hasn't been published yet that I'll be sending out, and that I'm working into book chapters, that sort of thing. I did some conferences, presentations, and I really need to get my act together about sending that stuff out. I also went to European Graduate School, where my wife was, still is, working on her PhD located in Saas-Fee, Switzerland. And when I got there, they gave me the honor of making me a visiting scholar, which allowed me to attend the class on Schopenhauer with the director of the program, and also to get tapped to sit on a dissertation defense, which meant I had to read an entire dissertation and give comments on it. But it was quite an honor, so I was happy about that. It's a great school, and I'm glad to be associated with them. I've also been doing a lot more, philosophy in public and practical settings. So, the YouTube channel, I started that half-hour Hegel series. Like I said, we've gotten through the preface and the introduction, which is a pretty big milestone in itself. I did a lot of core concept videos, particularly on Plato, but a few other things as well, like W.D. Ross and Aristotle, even some on Augustine, one on Camus, I think one on Sartre. I did a few more existentialism videos, and we had that whole Glimpses of Existence 12 lecture series that I recorded at the Kingston Library as well. I did a lot of public speaking. I think I had something like 30 or 35 different engagements over the course of this year. With trying to start a public speaking career, one of the things that you have to do is either find an agent, or you got to learn a whole new skill set, which is how to reach out to organizations and how to market and how to do a lot of cold calling. So I haven't done as much of that as I could have. I really like doing the research. I don't really like doing the marketing part so much, but you got to do that, I think, if you're going to try to be successful. I also was certified as a philosophical counselor from the American Philosophical Practitioner Association, and I've been working with that, building the skill set for that. Although a lot of that was really sort of putting a professional certification on things that I'd been doing anyway with people with philosophy, because I'm attracted to philosophy that's practical. Google Helpouts. I started doing Google Helpouts, which is a form of video conferencing, and I've helped quite a few people with that. You can see my Helpouts if you want to. I got involved in a few philosophy months or weeks or events that are trying to make philosophy a bit more of a public concern. The first of those that I did was Happiness Happens Month, and I did some videos for that on the nature of happiness. I'm not quite sure that they align so much with exactly what the Happiness Happens people wanted to do, but I'm willing to work with just about anybody. I got involved with World Philosophy Day. I did a special Dr. Sadler philosophy forum for that with my friend and colleague Leandro Lima, who is bringing out this great platform called Truth Score that I've been helping with, in the critical thinking parts and argumentation parts. And then, of course, in November there was Stoic Week, and I shot an entire sequence of videos for that, and I participated in their online course, and that was really quite fun. My wife and I actually did the course together and found it was quite useful for both of us. So that was 2014. Let's talk about 2015 and what we've got coming up specifically in January, and then a bit more about what we got going on for the year. So a lot of the videos that I'll be putting out in January are going to be from this Worldviews and Values class that I'm teaching. Like I said, I've got one more Plato one to drop on you, and then I think I've got 5 Epictetus ones. I've got 6 on Boethius. I'm going to be shooting Descartes videos once I get this video up and running. And who else have we got coming up? I mean, this is projecting ahead into February and March. We're going to be doing Mills on Liberty. We're going to do Wollstonecraft. We're going to do Martin Luther King. We're going to do Karl Marx. We're doing Jean-Jacques Rousseau's Discourse on the Origins of Inequality. A lot of really cool stuff coming up with that. And so I've got those videos. If you're interested in following along with the course, you can do that. half-hour Hegel videos. I don't know how far we can get in a year, but we're going to see. We're going to put the pedal to the metal and see how much of this dense text we can get through. Certainly we'll get through consciousness and self-consciousness, and hopefully partway into reason. We'll see just how far we can get with that. Existentialism class videos. My goal is to shoot and bring out another 40 or 50 of those over the course of the year. I'm going to be doing a few announcement videos about different things coming up this month, in particular about the existentialism class. I'm also going to do a video on my philosophical counseling practice and what that involves, and see if, because I do it through Skype as well as face-to-face. A lot more critical thinking videos are going to fill out that channel and turn it into a great resource for educators, for professionals, for lifelong learners, for students. And of course I'll shoot videos of the talks whenever they let me do that. If not videos, I'll be doing podcasts, and so you can always access those. What else have we got going on? Oh, big thing. We've lined up some office space here in Kingston for the philosophical counseling practice. We're going to be hopefully getting Reason.io's website up and running this month, so I'll have an actual non-YouTube, non-Facebook, non-Google+, just Reason.io web presence. It's about time that we actually did that, but we're so busy with other things that it's hard to get to that. We're lining up more talks. I'm in conferences about doing talks here, talks there. I don't want to actually announce anything until the announcements are made. I can tell you that I've got 2 talks coming up in January here in Kingston. One is that Understanding Anger talk, and it's specifically about Greek epic and Greek tragedy. And I might talk about comedy a little bit, and that's going to be at the Kingston Library on the 10th. And then, if I remember right, it's either the 17th or the 19th. I think it's the 19th, maybe the 18th, something like that. I've got a talk that was originally scheduled for December but had to be postponed due to weather at the Unitarian Universalist Association of the Catskills. That is on Rilke and his views on God, on the divine. So that's going to be pretty fun. But we've got a lot of other stuff coming up for February, March, April. We're lining things up now, and we're even lining stuff up for later in the year. Another thing that I'm going to be doing a lot more of this coming year is more intensive writing. I'm a little bit frustrated by the fact that I have lots of conference papers and articles that I've written and have been sitting on for a while and haven't been sending them out. So it's time for me to really get organized and start sending these things out to journals, because I used to be pretty prolific when it came to publication, and I'd like to start doing that again. I also have these book projects that I'm working on. A number of different irons in the fire. I don't need to go into too many of them now because I've already talked about them in other videos. But the main one that I'll be focusing on this month will be the Aristotle and Anger book. I've got a few other Aristotle-related projects, a few other anger-related projects, a few other projects going on, but I'm going to just keep plowing away at those. And you can expect to see some stuff getting published this year. The books are probably, unless I self-publish some things, the books are probably not going to be getting published this year because the cycle for publication takes so long for academic and even for popular publication. But I might self-publish some helpful guides for people. We'll see about that. That's a whole different conversation. In any case, I've got a lot of things coming up this year. I hope that the year is going to be successful and prosperous. Boy, that would be nice given the economy. Prosperous for all of you out there, and that, if you're interested in philosophy, if you're interested in intellectual stimulation, that you're able to find whatever resources work well for you, because, there's a great hunger, a great desire out there for real intellectual engagement with ideas. And I think in large part it's not being well met, or there's plenty of resources, and the people over here who are interested are having a hard time actually connecting with them. So let's end on a good note. Let's say this is going to be a great year for philosophy, not necessarily academic philosophy, but for philosophy in its older and more genuine sense of, deep thinking that informs people's lives, relationships, plans, and what it is that they're going to do, think, and love. So once again, Happy New Year 2015 to everybody, and there's the wrap up.